We still on Amazon click-through?
Of course we
They haven't dropped us yet.
Not yet, but they're getting close.
How close?
I know, I'm waiting on the email, imminent, like daily. I'm waiting for it.
Oh, God.
I told you about the warning.
Yeah, you told me. I've told people. Hey,
Literally
my cousin said that she's bought stuff off our Amazon click-through.
How much?
I don't know how much.
Because they base it off traffic generated.
Yeah.
And if you're not generating traffic for the
Yeah.
useless stuff.
But that doesn't make sense to me. It costs them nothing.
I know that, okay? I'm aware of this, but that's not how they work.
Fuck Amazon. Fuck George Soros.
It's not George Soros.
He does run that.
No, he does not.
What's his...
Jeff Bezos, right?
Bezos, Jeff Soros, they're the same fucking person. Amazon click-through can be found at our streetwarriorradio.com. Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Dude, I'm going live.
All right, go
This
on.
thing's hot. Wow. So, I have been told by our sponsors I need to redo my sponsor intro. So here we go. Do you go to Amazon? Do you? Because our Amazon click-through says that you don't. I would really appreciate it if you would go to streetwarriorradio.com and shop on your Amazon through there. Amazon click-through is a great way to help support the podcast. You love the podcast. I love the podcast. Everyone that subscribes loves the podcast. You know what you don't love, though? Using our Amazon click-through. You know how I know that? Because you're not using it. Because Amazon's about to shut us down, people. Don't let Jeff Bezos win. Don't let him win, guys. He's already gotten to the CIA and Google's pocket. Don't let him win by getting rid of us. All right? So if you can go to streetwarriorradio.com and use the Amazon click-through, do your Amazon shopping there. I have Amazon Prime, comes out monthly, $13.99. It gives me free shipping. You know how I know this? Because I go through our Amazon click-through at streetwarriorradio.com and buy all my stuff I need there. Dog food, tampons, toilet paper. They ship it right to my door for free. So use it. Also, I'd like to thank Top Notch Tactics for our awesome audio equipment they've helped us get. Really good guys. Check them out at topnotchtactics.com. Website is imminent. So if you want to support the podcast, Amazon click-through is a great way to do it. Big Bo out.
As we like to say, supporting great causes is not only a great way to help others and your community, it's also a great way to help yourself. Now, we here at the Street Warrior Radio podcast encourage people to seek out great organizations that donate the majority of their profits or proceeds to the causes that they're actually trying to help. With that, I want you to take a look at a couple organizations. Humanizing the Badge. Now, Humanizing the Badge is a non-profit organization on a mission to help forge stronger relationships between law enforcement officers and the communities that they serve. They're engaging that mission through community service projects on a national level, providing free, confidential online support for first responders and their families that reach out to deal with the unique stresses of the job, and engage on social media content through their pages and the pages of content creators that are part of their cause. And for example, Mike the Cop, Officer Daniels, Deputies Hookem and Bookem, Deputy Misdemeanor, etc. Great organization. Please go over to humanizingthebadge.com, check them out, and if you're so inclined, please donate. Also, Guardian for Heroes. Guardian for Heroes is an organization that humbly and proudly carries the torch that Chris Kyle, the American Sniper, left and championed the cause to restore hope, renew spirits, and replenish energy for combat veterans transitioning to post-military life. At no cost to the beneficiary of the organization, Guardian for Heroes provides health club memberships, individualized programs, personal training, in-home fitness equipment, and life coaching to in-need veterans with disabilities, Gold Star families, and those suffering from post-traumatic stress from combat deployment. They use a variety of different physical and mental fitness techniques to spark conversation and create a source of support for combat veterans. This is an extremely important cause. Go over to guardianforheroes.org, check them out, and if you're so inclined, please donate. You can also go to the streetwarriorradio.com website, and on the left-hand side of every page, there's links to different organizations that we champion. Click on those, do your research. If you're comfortable, please give them a support. Also, if you have an organization that you support that we don't know about, you can contact us at streetwarriorradio.com/contact or on that email at info@streetwarriorradio.com. Give us the information, a link to the organization and why you think we should know about them and support them, and we will definitely look into it and see what we can make happen. As always, streetwarriorradio.com. This is Street Warrior Radio episode 012 with your hosts Big Bo and me, JC. On this episode, we welcome the amazing Tim Kennedy to the podcast. For those who don't know, Tim is a true American hero and straight up badass. He is a U.S. Army Ranger qualified Green Beret who has served as a soldier in the U.S. Army Special Forces and still serves to this day as a member of the Texas National Guard. Tim is perhaps more recognized to most people as a former professional MMA fighter in the UFC, IFL, Strikeforce, among others. Tim has also been featured on numerous TV shows such as Hunting Hitler on the History Channel and currently owns and operates Sheepdog Response, a self-defense training company focused on making civilians and law enforcement better defenders of their homes, families, and communities. Tim is a larger-than-life personality and unapologetically patriotic, and this episode displays that in full. Now, this episode is a bit shorter than our normal episodes due to scheduling and time constraints, and we apologize for that. However, Tim was still gracious enough to make time in his ultra-busy schedule to talk with us, and we greatly appreciate it. So sit back, strap in, and help us welcome Tim Kennedy to the Street Warrior Radio podcast. Tim, welcome to the podcast.
What's up?
We are super excited that you're here. Thank you so much for making the time to be on. I know you got a busy schedule, and if you're ready to go, man, let's jump into it.
I'm ready.
All right. So for the 4 or 5 people out there in the world that possibly don't know who you are, tell them a little bit about who you are and where you come from, and kind of what it was like growing up for you.
Who are those 4 or 5 people? I'll find them. Yeah. Well, I grew up in Central California in San Luis Obispo County, which is a really rural, agricultural, amazing, beautiful, spectacular, picturesque place on the planet. But very atypical to most Californians in the sense that, I'm not from Hollywood. I wasn't a surfer. I was working on a ranch fixing barbed wire and fighting Mexicans.
Wow.
Pretty much every single weekend.
Wow.
Like that's the California I know and I grew up in.
Okay, that's cool.
What was your family dynamic like growing up?
Amazing. So I'm pretty much the most
Amazing.
badass dad on the planet. Yeah. He was,
Cool.
president of the California Narcotics Officers Association. He was on a narcotics task force. I mean, I am not joking that my father stole a plane full of cocaine from Pablo Escobar.
Wow.
And so, like, growing up and having that as your father, it's pretty cool. I'm not going to brag, but I had the cool dad on the block.
Right.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
Sounds awesome. And you have a brother, right? That's a police officer.
See, my brother, second generation stud.
Nice.
He's a EOD, bomb tech, SWAT, undercover. He's like balls the size of coconuts because he pretty much every day fights cartel members in California that try to run drugs up and down the coast.
Right.
That's my brother. Not a big deal.
Sounds badass.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, what was your path to mixed martial arts like?
Oh, back to having to fight the locals all the time. It was just a country bumpkin, a country kid growing up. That's just kind of how it was, in the sense that you just kind of have to sink or swim. You have to get used to being tough. You have to have it be commonplace to be in the riverbed and have somebody try to hit you over there with a bottle. I loved martial arts growing up. I loved competing in jiu-jitsu and wrestling and boxing and kickboxing. One of my very good friends and early coaches and sparring partners was Chuck Liddell in San Luis Obispo, and my coach John Heckman at the Pit. That's just kind of where I grew up, and it was, before MMA was a thing, before we had Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey and all these other, we had
soon to be Floyd Mayweather
and Tito Ortiz, and those are all Californians that like to throw down.
So was there ever a point where you thought like maybe you weren't going to be good enough to be a professional MMA fighter?
I was good early. I remember being in my gym at the time. I was at a Japanese jiu-jitsu gym, and Chuck, Jake Shields, Bo Taylor, these guys rolled into my gym because they were looking for training partners. He balled me up like to such an embarrassing level. I didn't know if I could ever show my face as a martial artist again. But I think I did what I hope all other real competitors would do, which is like, hey, where are you assholes from? And they're like, oh, we're from the Pit, which is like right up the road. John Hackham's our coach. I was like, cool, I'll see you on Monday. Can I train there? And that was the beginning of me transitioning truly into mixed martial arts and not just martial arts.
Okay, so real quick caveat off of that. Up to that point, what was your hardest fight that you had ever been in?
And fighting the riverbed. It was like me, Augie Gaw, Aaron Graves, Matt Romo, the four of us. We went to, this girl texted us and was like, hey, can you come pick us up? And it was a setup. It was straight up like a Viet Cong ambush. We got there and they're like, ha ha ha, you idiots. Good luck trying to get out of here. And they're like, does this mean you're not coming with us? We're still, so stupid, obviously.
Right?
And they're like, yeah, not only are we not
still trying to get the girl at the end of the day.
We turn around and like all of our most bitter rivals are there with chains and baseball bats and beer bottles. And
oh shit.
That was not a fight that I would ever want to repeat. So that would be at the top of it.
I'd imagine that.
Fast forwarded 20 years, 15 years, I'm in Afghanistan, and pretty much the same thing was repeated, except there wasn't a high school girl that had called us to show up. It was just the Taliban that tried to murder us. But
oh my God,
a little different,
a lot of different.
I argue that high school girl and the Taliban had a lot more in common than either of them would admit.
Oh
that's
my
funny.
gosh, that's good.
So real quick, what person has had the biggest influence on your life?
My dad, my grandpa, my uncles, my first team sergeant, the first girl to turn me down. It's a hard question to answer. I also had a really cool dog growing up, and stiff one time, and it turned around and like tried to bite my cheek off. So that fixed like I'll never hurt anything that's weaker than me problem. Because I almost lost my cheek.
Yeah, right.
It's a poodle too. You want to talk about emasculating? Be a 5-year-old that hits a dog
Right.
and then almost tears your face off.
Jesus.
No, I had a super dad that was loving and caring and supportive, and then I had this mom that was just like, they were the perfect parents, truly. And then I had a big brother that, there's like the idiot mentally challenged pit bull that's like kind of starved and kind of runtish, and it's locked in a cage all the time, occasionally hit with a cattle prod. That was me from 11 until 1. And then I had my brother, who was, the big brother, the firstborn, who was good at everything, and he's crazy smart. And he's like, oh, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to be good at it. And then he's like, oh, and then I'm just going to build a rocket, and I'm going to sell that design to NASA. That's essentially my brother.
Wow.
But also between him and my dad, I remember being my brother, he's a giant. When I said I'm a runt, my dad's like 6'3", 250, 260. My brother's 6'2", 250. And then there's like little runt Tim, like runt as in not only was I smaller than everybody, but I also didn't have a tit to suck on. So I didn't get the nourishment early on. So I'm like super small.
Yeah.
I'm size 13 feet, but I'm 5'11". It's kind of embarrassing,
Right.
No, I feel your pain, brother.
Yeah, right. It sucks. So my brother would take these huge mitt paws, like ape hands, like gorilla, like crushing coconuts with his bare hand type hands. And I remember he'd open palm slap people. And I remember I almost got in a fight this one time, and like with a super jerk. I mean, this guy was a total dildo. And my brother turns around and slaps me. Me, not dude, me.
Wow.
And he's like, right now you're kind of being obtuse. And I was like, what? Did you just say obtuse? I'm about to fight someone. And he's like, yeah, just relax. Can you be cool for once? And I was like, at the time, I was like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
You're being obtuse.
Bite your throat out. That's what's going to happen. And then like minutes later, when I was not seeing red anymore, my brother was like, you didn't need to fight that guy, and you're going to kill him. You're just going to crush him. And, you didn't need to. And that echoed something that my dad said later, which was right before I deployed to Iraq the first time. He said, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Right, he was talking about, you're going to have an opportunity to be in gunfights, to shoot people. And I did a lot of opportunity. And, my dad, with great wisdom, saving me probably some serious PTSD type stuff, being echoed by something my brother said, 10 years beforehand, to this day still resonates with me and things that I try to live my life by. But at the time, it was my big brother slapping me with his bear paw in front of all these people, so I wouldn't beat it up, which I didn't need to. And, that's just another example, one of millions of my brother trying to shape the character of just, post-pubescent dog in heat that just snorted a line of coke.
Sure. Wow. Absolutely. That's a good lesson.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I think most people have heard your 9/11 story and how it propelled you to a recruiter's office to join the military, which by itself is inspirational. But after you left the recruiter's office, in that time before you ended up actually going to basic training, was there ever a time that you kind of doubted your decision to join at all?
No. I mean, I could not get to basic training fast enough. I was chomping. I had a delayed enlistment. They wanted me to finish grad school. So, I wanted so badly to rush through things. And, I wanted to go through to basic. I want to go to infantry school. I want to go to airburst school. I want to go to the special operations preparation course, then the selection, and then blow through the Q course, blow through language school, blow through SEER school, get to my team, get on the first plane smoking over to Afghanistan and get those guys,
Yeah.
And it was really immature. I think fate or God intervened and slowed things down, because even me getting to my team when I did, I was still immature. Me deploying for the first time, coming back from my first deployment, my team sergeant, John McPhee, sent me to Ranger School with a graduate as honor graduate, or you can't come back to this team because you don't deserve to be in special forces. Those aren't great ultimatums coming from your boss.
Yeah.
So it's always been a learning through pain and suffering with me, because I'm just, obviously pretty stupid.
No, I doubt that.
Well,
now,
my
so
life would argue a different point there.
Now you were already fighting professionally, right?
Yeah.
At that point.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And were you fighting for UFC at the time, or were you fighting for another?
Man, I fought for everybody.
Organization.
Yeah, I was fighting for the WEC World Extreme Cage Fighting Championship.
Gotcha.
And then I was fighting for the IFL, which is the International Fight League. And then I was fighting Strike Force. And then I was fighting for ECC, Extreme Cage Fighting Championship. And every group or promotion that I was fighting for would then be bought by the UFC. And I would turn tail and run because I wanted to not work for Zuffa. Until they finally bought Strike Force, and they not only bought the name, they also bought the roster. So I couldn't get away. I was stuck. I was trapped.
Okay. So did you face did anybody say anything once you left for the military? Like, was there any people in the, fighting community that kind of felt you were patriotic for leaving, or the other way?
John Hackleman was prior service. He was in the Army, and he boxed for the Army. He was a nurse in the Army, So he to this day, I think, very cleverly, even though I think he saw potential in me becoming a world champion, he saw that he's a real coach. He knew I was struggling with life decisions and, making poor ones. And I think he knew that maybe the Army was my one chance of not really my whole entire life.
So why Special Forces? Why Green Beret as opposed to any of the other special operations units in the other branches?
Man, they're the most badass dudes on the planet.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right, right? Ooh, I'm pounding my chest. No,
Cool.
So yes, first, that's truly what I believe. I think they are the most elite, capable, diverse fighting force in the world. But they also are unlike anybody else because they're the warrior diplomats. They're the ones that understand the ramifications of their actions. They're not just door kickers. They're not just guerrillas dragging their knuckles on the ground with guns. A monkey can pull a trigger, which they can.
Sure.
In this case, it's a group of guys that understand democracy. They understand freedom. They understand what it takes to inspire, how to build a government, the socioeconomic organization of government, and how to help write a constitution, how to garner trust from some of the most cruel warlords on the planet and make those types of people believe in a chance at liberty. There's nobody else on the planet that does that. And we've been doing it for, 60 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So how has your career as a Green Beret and even a professional fighter shaped you both personally and even professionally?
Well, they made each other, they made me better at the other thing. So I really believe I was, well, to a degree, I was a better fighter because I was a good soldier, and I was a good soldier because I believed in fighting. Yeah, to a detriment where, I fought for 2 world titles and I lost both those fights. And one of which was shortly after me returning from Afghanistan. Had I been, American top team or at Jackson Winklejohns or at AKA training full-time right pit with Chuck and John, would I have been a world champion? Maybe, or maybe not. There's no telling looking back. You can what if anything, but I think that it made me a better soldier.
Sure.
And it has made me a better martial artist and fighter.
Now, so, and you're in the Guard now, right? You're in the Texas National Guard?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So what, do you still facilitate the same role, as a Green Beret, or are you doing something different?
No, 100%. I am nothing special for me within the military. That you believe it, that the Army gets what they want from me. And, that, to a painful degree, probably even more so than anyone else. I have to be a good soldier.
Okay. So what was the most impactful thing you learned about yourself, both positively and negatively, from your experiences in combat?
Man, I saw the inside of my own body a whole bunch of times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
I wasn't expecting that.
Being like a big swinging dick, 230-pound, muscle-bound, 6% body fat, bearded, you know, what you think to be superhero. The first time you see your own blood, man, it's not a good feeling.
No one makes me bleed my own blood.
It's realizing how fragile we are and how dangerous this occupation is. It was, you know, a really humbling way of.
Sure, I can imagine. Yeah.
And yeah, it just sucks. So I think, you know, the lesson was really learning how human and how not invincible and how dangerous this beautiful life is, both on the giving and receiving. You know, because in the process of learning how fragile I am as a person, I got better at all of my skill sets, my job of being a special forces sniper, of, you know, being a leader, being a ranger, being a Green Beret. So as I got faster at being able to take life, I got and more efficient at it. I got more hesitant about when to.
Sure.
Yeah.
And partially from the pain I experienced individually, and then also because of, you know, how much I had been doing it.
Right. Yeah, of course. So I'm gonna throw a doozy of a question at you. If present day Tim Kennedy could travel forward in time and meet the 90-year-old version of Tim Kennedy, what would you tell him about your life?
I would tell him that he should probably slow down. He should
even at 90.
should think about what he does. No, I wouldn't change anything. Man, if I went back, I would say I would hide in a corner and hope that I never saw me, because I would want to do everything the exact same.
That's awesome.
That's good. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah, that's truly awesome. So what is the future of global war on terror, and are we making progress the way we should be, in your opinion?
Dude, we're fucking smashing those assholes. Dude, they're running for the hills. We dropped a Moab on them a year ago. And then they're like, oh, man, you killed a bunch of dudes in Niger? Nice. We're going to eradicate you off the face of the entire country and then continent. And they're like, oh, man, you guys got Fallujah and you got Ramadi? You guys got, man, we fought for those. You got Sadr City back? Neat. We're going to take them back. Not only are we going to take them back, we're going to push you guys all the way back into those tiny little holes that you radical fanatics belong in. That's where we are right now. And it is ramping up. That's what we did in the past year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in the coming year, man, I'll tell you what. Listen, if you're, I'm just going to name a couple of random groups: Al Qaeda, ISIS, the Taliban, PLO, Boko Haram. All right, if you're in any of those or any affiliates to those, or you do business with anybody that does business with them, you need to find something else to do, because you will die in the next year.
Wow.
Nice. I like it.
I love the intensity. God, I love the intensity.
So switching gears a little bit, how did Hunting Hitler come about for you?
Woo! I mean, just like it's like a job, you know, where they had a skill set that they needed, and they had somebody that could fill it. They needed somebody that could speak Spanish, that had worked in South America, that had hunted humans, that could fly drones, and knew ground-penetrating radar. So
Right.
It's like me and, I don't know, a couple hundred other dudes from 7th Group. And from my kind of fighting career, I was already in a position that it was easy for me to make a transition into television without me getting in trouble with special forces. Because our motto is the
cool.
quiet professionals, which means we're not really supposed to be on television.
Of course, yeah.
Because then we'd be called the Navy SEALs, and we're not.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, you kind of took that out of the equation when you were on TV fighting for the belt, though.
Yeah, that's actually how the commander of Yusufik, when he brought me into his office, he's like, so I saw you on Friday night on the main event on Fox. So you know our motto is the quiet professionals, right there, Sergeant? And he's like, yes, sir. Yes, I do. He's like, so what are we going to do about this? I'm like, well, I don't think I'm going to have much of a say in this, do we? He's like, no, you probably won't, but we're going to figure this out. I was like, great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
wonderful.
Love the red carpet.
Yeah.
All right, so was there a scary or intense moment that you experienced that did not make it into the final cut of the show, or happening behind the scenes while investigating these various countries and digging up what is essentially some sensitive and often controversial material among the local natives?
Local natives? You mean like the second generation Nazis? Yeah, man. Everywhere we went, we had dudes following us with mopeds and machetes trying to like, hey, if you go and talk to this person, we're going to chop your hands off. Or we'd arrive and we had to have some of our production crew sleep in the room together, and we were like bringing in bottled water because we're pretty sure they're going to try and poison us. We're in like this place in Colonia Dignidad called Villa Bavaria. And like that was just straight up a murdering, cult, torturing Nazi playground. And they did not like a bunch of anti-Nazis, us, coming in and asking any questions, especially when they found out that we were not a television crew that was filming a documentary for a travel channel. So that went over like a fart in church. They're like, wait,
gosh. I bet.
You guys are Nazi hunters? We're like, yeah. So you're not with the travel channel? No. So you're not here filming a promo for a commercial about people coming to visit us? Nope. We are here to say that you're a bunch of assholes. Bum, bum, bum. It didn't go well.
Oh my god.
I mean, that just happened everywhere we went. You know, like nobody wanted to talk about it. You know, the like umbrella of secrecy, this cloud of don't talk about it, like don't ask, don't tell. That was ever present in every location that we went to around the world.
That's crazy to me, considering the amount of time that's passed between all this, you know, between the end of the war and the networks that were obviously active in South America and in Europe to an extent, and the fact that in 2015, 16, 17, that people like were still upset about it, secretive about it, embarrassed about it.
Yeah, man, we're fighting fascism and socialism in the United States right now.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Let's not throw stones at other countries that are still struggling with Nazis.
Right.
Because we still have freaking idiots walking down the street with khakis and little tiki torches.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's
great.
still real. Those ideas do not die.
No.
Not
at
easily,
all.
no. At all.
That's the sad part.
So talk about a Sheepdog Response and how it came about.
Well, man, we got a bunch of assholes trying to kill a bunch of Americans at every opportunity. You know, nightclubs. In Orlando, Pulse, like you're just there with your boyfriend, you're trying to have a good time, and then somebody comes in and starts shooting everybody. Then you're like at a Christmas party in San Bernardino, and then you're like, jingle bells, jingle bells. And then like somebody comes in and starts shooting everybody, you know, and then you're running along at the Boston Marathon, and bam, a bomb goes off. Then you're at the Marine 5K, and then bam, a pipe bomb goes off, you know, and then you're like just cruising down the road, and then somebody takes a car and tries to run over you. So, you know, while they're screaming Allah Akbar. And then you have these little tiny idiot kids grabbing machine guns or assault rifles or whatever they can get their hands on and going and mowing down other students. So obviously there's a need. 21st century is not like when I was growing up. You know, the only thing I had to worry about was my brother slapping me in the face with a giant meat paw. Or my sister trying to beat me to death in my sleep with a baseball bat. This was.
You sound like great siblings.
This is different, you know. So we as Americans, my mom, you know, they used to drill nuclear prep, like the nuclear siren would go off and they'd crawl underneath their desks.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's what happened in the Cold War. That's how my mom grew up, and they responded accordingly. Well, man, this is what it's like now. You know, we have a problem, and Sheepdog Response, I believe, is the best solution. You know, we're showing people how to save life and how to take life in the effort of saving more life. We're trying to keep the blood of the good guys with the blood out of bad guys, and it is not an easy thing. It takes a ton of work, and we're just trying to put the balls and the teeth back in the American people.
Awesome.
And has the what's the growth rate like for the company? Is it really exploded over the last couple of years? I mean, you guys are seeing more students.
It's painful, and we're only 2 years old, and the struggle of dealing with how fast we're growing is just like, I wish I had 500 more instructors, but we have to be so precise about what we're showing people,
right,
because this is ultimately going to determine who lives and dies.
Of course, yeah.
Like this isn't pretend fighting. I'm not at like a Krav Maga self-defense school where I can just show somebody how to kick somebody in the nuts and pretend poke them in the eyes. I'm talking about somebody coming into a school and trying to shoot little kids.
Yeah.
This is real. Like, you don't get more real than this. And these are Americans that we're talking about. So, man, we're trying to put the best thing out there and ultimately save some life.
What have you seen? What have you seen as far as your law enforcement students? Do you think that, based off of the interactions with law enforcement that you've had in the classes and in general, do you think that the leadership in law enforcement is failing cops as far as firearms training, combatives, critical decision making, things like that?
Listen, if you are a ranker sergeant or above, you need to grow some balls. This is what needs to happen. You need to get your guys on the range, not to qualify, but constant. It is such a perishable skill that if you don't shoot within 2 weeks, you start deteriorating. 14 days.
Yeah,
wow.
I 100% agree with you.
There should not be a cop that doesn't shoot at least every week. And every single week, they need to be on the mats doing escalation of force, de-escalation of force, cuffing. I mean, one of the biggest problems is not only their shape and their ability to make decisions, but they aren't in those positions with external stresses at the same time. Like, you can ask somebody in a classroom, hey, what are you going to do when you pull somebody over, blah, 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 blah. No, man, make that guy get tired. Make that guy bleed. Make that guy sweat. Make that girl get uncomfortable with having to put cuffs on a 220-pound officer and then ask him.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
That is how we're failing them, is because we are not giving them the training that they need, preparing them for what they have to do every single day on the street. And they're the front lines of who's going to be saving life. You look at what just happened in Parkland. That's a leadership problem. That is not.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
That is not officers. Clearly, that's officers making mistakes. And that's a systemic problem within leadership. I want to go in there and kick some teeth in, and
sure.
I can fix that in lickety split. It's going to come from blood. And it's going to come from hard work.
Well, I can't imagine. I've been a cop now for 12 years, and I just can't imagine being in that situation and not, the first instinct is not to just go. And
for sure.
Even if somebody's telling you not to, it's like, no, fuck you, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine, especially even as a father, I just can't imagine not getting the job done and ending the threat.
Yeah. Man, I'm really gentle about throwing stones at people not running towards sound of gunfire.
No, I get it. I mean, I get it. I'm saying if that's what happened, if that was a decision that was made, like, hey, because active shooter training, the standard for active shooter training has been for the last few years is that, you go in and stop the threat. You don't wait for backup. You go in and do it.
Yeah, it's the moment you hear it, you observe, you identify, you take action, and you eliminate the threat. That's it.
It's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Simple as that.
And and I don't want to, I'm not trying not to come at it as like Monday morning quarterbacking the individual officer's decisions, but looking at it from the outside, which is the only perspective that I have other than my experience as a cop. And I've been in an active shooter situation, and it's I just can't, there's no other thought in my mind other than going and dealing with it, regardless of what leadership wants.
I'm with you, man. I've been yelled at before. I've gotten in trouble before, and I'll take it again. But what I'm not going to do is let a kid get shot and me say it's because my boss told me no. I'll tell you what,
Exactly.
I'll take the ass
Well, you just
any day of the week.
I'll take being fired.
Yeah, man, you can't put a price on living with yourself. You just you can't.
Yep. So what are some of the things or processes you do in order to make improvements in your life?
I sweat and I bleed. I trained 2 times. I trained 2 times today. And the moment that we get off this phone, I have a couple of dudes out there going to be shooting with in a couple of minutes as soon as the sun gets a little bit further down.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be walking through the woods with night vision and lasers.
Awesome.
And trying to improve our skill craft. Tomorrow I'm doing long distance shooting. Saturday I'm doing straight up a sniper course. Sunday I'm going to do a bunch of pistol transition stuff. And then I hit the road on Sunday night. And I teach Sheepdog next week. So
sweet.
Awesome, man.
Like I don't have, there's not a single, like I don't have a thing. It's just life, man. You just get after it.
Right?
Yeah.
Famous words of Jocko. Are there any books or movies that have had an impact on your life for the better?
The Patriot, Last of the Mohicans.
Patriot's a badass movie.
Yeah, 13
Last of the
Hours.
Mohicans is bad.
Les Mis.
13 Hours is great.
Sicario, Dunkirk, Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down. Those are some. Hell or High Water. Oh, another a good one is The Big Country. Actually, Gregory Peck's character in The Big Country is pretty much what I want to be when I grow up.
That's a great movie.
It's a great movie. Nobody's seen that movie. You got to watch that movie. It's a good movie. And then on the book side, so I read the Quran, I read the Kabbalah, I get after the Book of the Dead. Like I love learning about religion because like 90% of the planet believes in it.
Right.
So I like the Bible. I like Tides of War. Man, I switched from like fiction to nonfiction. Like I love getting back to our founding fathers from 1776. Who wrote that? David McCall. And then like John Carter's the Mars collection. Read the Star Wars books. Hell, Dracula and Da Vinci Code. You're like I read it all. Stephen King.
You're
awesome.
all over the place.
Yeah. Like my brain.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, man, I gotta go.
Oh, you're good, man.
That's good, man.
You're
That's
good.
awesome.
Hey, we appreciate you being on the podcast, Tim.
God bless America, and you guys keep crushing life. Go train, inspire your colleagues to do the same, and come shoot with us.
You're good, man.
For sure,
we will.
man. Let us know.
All right, Tim. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye. Woo.
Wow,
Jesus.
that was like I
So,
feel like it was a tornado.
God, that dude's so high intensity.
I mean, I
love him.
He's awesome.
Dude, that's like, like sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm super patriotic. And then I just listen to Tim Kennedy talk. I'm like, no way.
You think of Tim Kennedy and you think of like,
Mel Gibson and the Patriot.
Ranger panties and American flag pattern. And, just
he's
like
a badass
with an M4 and screaming with a, bottle of Budweiser or something, even though I don't think he drinks, but
he probably he's probably like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He has like a shot of Patron once every 3 years. We'll see. I don't know. He's high intensity. He's probably like Jack Daniels.
Thanks so much for Tim Kennedy.
Hey, yeah, man, we really appreciate Tim Kennedy.
Super busy guy. Could only give us a little bit, but
we really appreciate the time he gave us. Yeah, we understood, and we tried to condense our interview as quick as we could for him, and we really appreciate him coming on, man. That was super awesome. He didn't even have to give us those 30 minutes, but he did.
He was literally in between
rolling sessions and shooting. He literally got off the mat, gave us 30 minutes, and he's going to shoot. So I mean, he's the man, the myth, the legend, Tim Kennedy. Slows down. Thank you, sir.
And you can find Tim Kennedy on, of course, all the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. I think all of his handles are at Tim Kennedy MMA.
They are.
And then also at sheepdogresponse.com, which is their training company.
Hunting Hitler.
Yeah, you can watch him on Hunting Hitler. You can watch him, of course, he's not an active fighter anymore. But obviously you can YouTube that and see what kind of badass he was in the ring. I think he boasted a final record of like 18-6. I think was his final 18-5 or 18-6. I can't remember. If I gave him an extra loss, he may come track me down and kill me. But
listen, it's probably 19-4. So Tim, I didn't. I'm going to clarify this right now.
You can look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's probably safe. Yeah. But just super awesome guy, super intense. I just the pace of it was just so fast, But great guy. So yeah, that's where you can find him. Again, thank you, Tim Kennedy, for coming on. And Big Bo, You want to tell people where they can find us?
I'm not going to tell people where they can find us. They know where to find us.
Well, there might be somebody listening to this podcast for the first time.
I feel like you come at me very aggressively to do this.
I mean, I have to.
You're like...
You have to be motivated that way.
Tell them where to find... I mean, I know my job, okay?
Oh, do you?
I do. Did you not hear the intro?
That's just my line. I have to say it, so... It was written in the show notes.
It actually is written in the show notes, people. No. You know what? So listen, I have to run a family as I do this podcast, too. My girlfriend's pretty hateful. I just said, hey, did you get me anything to eat? Nope.
Wow. Like, seriously? Nope?
Seriously? Nope. Guess who's eating chicken tonight? Anyway, you can find us on Instagram at Street Warrior Radio. You can go to our website, which is very important because I know you have to do some Amazon shopping today. Like, what do you need? You probably need your protein shake. You probably need your pre-workout, your post-workout. You probably want to get some new shorts to roll around in for your BJJ class. You might even want to buy a new gi. I don't know what you're into. Go on Amazon click-through our webpage at streetwarriorradio.com. Find us on Twitter
at STRT, the word warrior, RDIO.
Find us on Facebook at Street Warrior Radio. Like, share, subscribe. We're also on YouTube, Google, iHeart, Stitcher, Spreaker, all those places where you can find podcasts at. And as usual, thank you for your service. Big Bo is out. Salute.
Awesome. And with that, if you have
any... shout out Tim Kennedy for coming back on the show too, man.
Yeah, again. I'm exhausted after the interview.
Dude, he was...
I feel like I go to sleep right now.
I don't know if you guys are as tired as I am.
I'm tired.
But Tim was amazing. He was really cool. I appreciate that. I just really want to say that real quick.
The man.
I'm a huge fan of his.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, war stories, please send us some war stories. We have some, like I said, probably in the next month, next couple of weeks or so, we'll start having episodes with original content. Again, if you have any war stories, please send them to streetwarriorradio.com/contact or on that email at info@streetwarriorradio.com. And with that, I just want to give thanks to the men and women of our armed forces. Thank you for the sacrifices that you make and keeping us safe. Thank you to our first responders, our police, fire, and paramedics. Thank you for keeping us safe here at home. Always remember your oath. Always remember what you're there for. Always do the right thing. And as Mike Simpson said in episode 11, when talking about what he would say at a police graduation, if you ever get to the point where you're burned out, where you're jaded, where you're just ready to hang it up, think back to that moment when you graduated the police academy. Think about that feeling, what motivated you to get into the job, and that could be for fire and everything else. And remember that, focus on it, and go forth and do good. And to all the people around the world who keeps things going.
Why do you have to say, listen, guys, I'm like literally right here, and he does this thing where he goes around the world.
It's just
where he does his finger in a circle.
It's expressive talking.
Okay.
I do it. I use my hands.
No, it's fine. I just feel like, why can't you just say people on the plane? Like, to everybody out there on the planet, or everybody.
The big round planet. Yeah.
Eddie Bravo said he's going to come on the show.
And first of all, Eddie Bravo never said that.
Do you know that?
Yeah, because I can see our DMs.
He did not say he wasn't coming.
He didn't respond to you. He probably blocked us, actually, now.
Eddie would never do that.
He might think you're part of a government conspiracy to try to get him to reveal himself.
Am I the mole?
You are the mole.
Maybe I'm the mole.
Possibly. Anyway, to all those people that make the world go around, thank you so much for what you do. To our fans and supporters, thank you for following us. We appreciate you. We got a lot more to come. And with that, Street Warrior Radio is out of service.